Right then guys, going to do away with introductions for the moment, because you should know what we're doing. So we're still on the Ironman project. I'm going to be working on the forearm sections of our build today. Each arm is going to be slightly different because obviously they're supposed to be built from scrap material, but I'm going to build the main sections exactly the same. So we're going to start with that. So I pulled out the scrap pieces of EVA foam that's left over from doing our helmet. So I'm not going to waste any. These are going to be perfect. I'm going to need some discs cut out of these, about 17 centimetres across. So I've got my calipers. I've set them at 8.5 centimetres, and that should then give me roughly what I need for the circle. So I'm going to mark one. And I'm going to cut that out, and hopefully we're going to be able to get 4 pieces put together, and I'll be able to cut them out, and then I've got 4 discs exactly the same for the more forearm, and then we're going to build around on that. So I'm going to get them sorted and come back and then start working on the outside bits. So I've cut the 2 pieces. I've tried to do one that's big enough just for me to be able to get my wrist through. That's going to be held there. And the other one's got to be wide enough to fit slightly further up there. So they're going to fit on like that. And then the sections in between. I've also got a nice pair of gloves to go on the end. So now we're going to start working on the surround bits. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see this on the camera, but I've made myself a rough template from the brown paper. And I've cut it out. I've laid it out on one sheet. It's just going to fit onto one sheet of the EVA foam. I'm going to mark it out, do a reverse, do a second one of it, one for each arm, and then I'm going to make some slight alterations on the foam. So like this one I've done curved, I'm going to do the other one straight, and then we're going to put them together and then start adding details to make each arm separate. So I'm going to get these bits cut out and work on from there. And guys, I've come out the workshop just for a little bit, just to do a camera bit. The workshop's in the right mess, and there's a few little bits and pieces I'm not quite ready for you guys to see just yet. But these are the arm sections. When I did it, I purposely made it so that the pieces probably wouldn't have joined here, because I didn't want to have to cut bits off, but I also thought we can add this section, which will cover that up and kind of add to it's going to be part of the detailing anyway, so that goes on the arm. This one's going to be nicely curved. I'm going to add detailing all the way around this, and then the straps, there's going to be the gas bottle that sits down here, and all the sections underneath ready for the flamethrower. The other section I've kind of done a bit more blocky, that's going to go on this arm, and then there's going to be the shielding, it's going to be around that. I'm ready to go, and I think there's a rocket launcher on this side, but we'll see whether we put that on yet or not. But so I'm going to go back in the workshop, start adding the detailing, show you how to do the shielding, and then see what they're like when they're finished. I'm going to work on the shielding for the left arm. It's very simple for this, is I'm just cutting out the pieces. I'm measuring it. You might also notice, I'm going to cover this, that some of the edges aren't particularly great. I'm using a ruler to measure out, but when I come to cut some of these pieces out, I'm just eyeballing it with the knife. The reason is that this is supposed to be a rough build, as it's built in the cave. So the easiest way to try and get that rough look is to cut some of it roughly. And that's what I'm doing. Normally if I was doing a nice positioned one, I'd have the ruler out, there'd be nice straight edges, but for this I'm just taking my knife and just go cutting roughly where my line is. So it's a little bit rough, but hopefully that's going to add to the look. Right, so I've measured this piece out, and basically what I want is a section where it's going to be 15 centimetres with 2 10 centimetre bits on the side, and they're going to be curved in. Rather than doing it as a curve, they're going to be flat like shielding, and the easiest way I'm going to get this is I'm going to turn it over, I'm going to use my knife, I'm going to set the depth of it, And then what I'm going to do is on the back is I'm going to cut out a triangle groove all the way down where I need the line to be, basically either side. So it's not going to cut all the way through. I'm just going to cut in a nice little triangle all the way down, and then what I can do is I can fold that in, glue it, and then that will give the edge here, so there'll be no glue marks or edgings there. It should just be nice and flat. Alright, so once we've stuck those, folded them and stuck them, you end up with a nice little pattern, and on the back side sort of no like glue lines. It's all still one piece, but we've got the shape we're after. So that's how that's going to go on. I've got some little scrap pieces here. I'm going to glue these on, and then these are going to be what's going to space it away from the second bit of arm, so it's going to have that little bit of gap between here and the arm. So I'm going to stick them in, and then that's going to go onto the arm. Right, I've added the detailing. I've built 2 of those shield bits, and I managed to put them on there. This one was a little bit small. I did it 10 by 10, and then that fitted over half, so I put the first one on and then that one off at an angle, so that kind of covers the elbow a bit. It's supposed to be the shielding. For the detailing on the right arm, I just cut some 5mm foam and I've laid it around the edges. Added my more detailing, which I'll come to again later. The only thing that needs left to do on this is I'm going to source the gas bottle, which will sit on the side here with the pipes, and I'm going to make some rigging up to put the pipes on the bottom for the flamethrower part. So we're getting there, so that's almost done, and I'm going to source the other bits, which will be another day, and then we'll finish putting this one together, and then they can all be coated and painted the same as the helmet. Right, now to go on to the arm section, I've made this gas bottle. This gas bottle is very simple. It's a little tube that a pair of swimming goggles came in, and then I glued onto that 2 end caps. These are from the little bits that you get in the machine. You get your little ball that prizes in. So I've opened them up, put them on the end, and this is a little valve for a fish tank. I've taken that and just sprayed that up. I've taken pictures of this along the way, so I'll be showing you them. So this is the gas bottle, but this is nice and light because I'm going to be putting this to the arm section. I don't want it to be heavy on my arm. This is nice and light. I've then I marked up and made a unit system for it to hold on to. Got them into my jigsaw and cut them out, and then these have been glued onto the arm sections. You can see that, and then the gas bottle will fit in there quite nicely, and I've got the top bits to go on. So I'm going to paint them all up once everything's done, and then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to put some little screws in to hold that into place, and then that will be the gas bottle on the side of the arm. I've got some black piping, so I'm going to add some black pipes around here. I've also made little bits down the bottom here. If you can see them, they're going to be on the bottom. They're all lined up. They're going to take a tube. I'm going to make that look like a flamethrower, and that's all going to be connected to the tubing. So that's these bits of the arms. So I'm going to move on from this now. They're going to start getting a PVC coat. I'm going to work on the top arm sections, and for that I've cut out 4 more rings. These are the same as the bits for the small the forearms, but obviously I've cut a slightly bigger hole because these need to go further up my arm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small ring from these. These are then going to be covered in a 5mm foam. It's going to just overhang a little bit. It's because they're going to be smaller. It's slightly easier to get the 5mm foam over. Plus, I'm going to try and save as much as the 10mm foam as possible for some of the other parts to build. So there, and then they're going to be the rings that are going to go along the top arm sections as we go. So I'm going to crack on with these, and then hopefully we'll start on the shoulder section. Right, now I've gone and done that. It's just quick and simple, just piece of the 5mm foam all the way around to create that into a tube. So I've got my 2 bits in there for support, and then just cut some smaller strips, slightly bigger than what I've been using before. Put them around the edge, so that's going to be the top arm section. This is going to be nice and light and easier to wear than using with the 5mm foam going around the outside. Going to make it a little bit easier. I'm undecided yet whether this is going to be connected to the shoulder plate. I'll probably make that decision once I've built everything up and I'm putting it together. So this might be connected to the shirt I'm going to be wearing underneath. I'll just use some little Velcro pads in there, or it's going to be connected to the shoulder pad and kind of be moving but all part of one unit. But I'll make that decision when I come to it. So now I'm going to get on and we're going to build the shoulder section. So I'm going to template that up and then we're going to cut those pieces out. Okay, now I've drawn my template out, cut it out some brown paper, and I've just pinned it to a piece of leftover foam. This is from I was doing the shielding on the left hand arm, and basically just pin it down and I'm going to draw the pieces out. I think I've got another piece of leftover foam, so because I'm going to need to make 2 of these. I like to not waste pieces of foam, so I keep all the spare pieces, because when you need little bits and pieces or just a little bit like this, it comes in handy. It saves wastage and obviously money as well. So we're going to cut this one out. I'm going to use my sharp knife, and that's in place. We're going to make 2 of these and we're going to crack on. I'm going to show you how we're going to curve these, but I'm also going to make them with a slight ridge in it as well. I'm going to do that. So now that's in, I'm just going to cut that out. Alright, now I've cut those 2 pieces out. I have gone round on the inside of that just to smooth it out a little bit with the Dremel tool. The simple fact is I want it to be rough, but I don't want it to be too jagged rough. This is all supposed to have been forged metal we're making, so I'm going to smooth that off. I'm probably going to do a nice little bevel on the edges of these once that's done, but we'll come to that bit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make grooves in here the same way we did on the shielding, but we want it to be a little bit further in, so we're going to make some slightly wider cuts on the inside here. So we're going to sort that out. So we need to come in a little bit more, and there needs to be a bit more an angle. Maybe a slightly sharper knife as well. The other one, and so we're going to do that, make a slightly deeper angle, hopefully without cutting all the way through. Yep. And but then before we glue that, we're going to do something else as well. There we go. So that's going to make our part of the shoulder pad. Now, so before we glue that on, what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up with a heat gun. We're going to put a slight bend in it that way, so it's going to be bent that way, and then we're going to fold these bits in. It means I might have to remove a little bit more around the edges, but at least we're part of the way there. So we're going to put the bend in it that way and then see what we need to do. Right, forget everything I've just said. As I was trying to make the bend in this section, it just wasn't quite working. Having the curve that way and having 2 straight edges, then trying to bend down just wasn't working. So what I've done is I've basically just cut the end off, recut these brand new pieces, but I cut them again, this time with a curve rather than a straight edge, and then put that on. So this already had the beveled edge, just cut it out a bit more of a bevel, and then just put a slight bend in this, and then that glued in. So we've got one here, be ready to go in, so I'll put that one in, and once that's in, that will create our shoulder section. Basically what I was trying to avoid was having this seam. Unfortunately it's not going to work, so we're going to have the seam, but I have another way I can cover that up. I just wanted to make it look like it was one piece. If I'd have had the time, the easiest way to do it would have probably done something like the dome like I did for the helmet, and then cut this shape out of it, but because I'm a little bit short on time, I want to get it done, I've just gone for it this way. So we'll get these stuck in, and I'll do the other shoulder pad, and then that should all be done. Alright, now I've taken the shoulder and the bicep pieces, I've coated them, sprayed them and weathered them up. Hopefully you can see that looking nicely there. Basically what I've done is connected the two bits together with 3 strips here of the 5mm foam. This keeps the two bits together as one, but also adds a little bit of movement for the shoulder joint. And also I've forgotten about these. I cut some small discs out of the 10mm foam. I used the rotary tool to clean off the edges and then create this little dip in the middle. Those were then coated, sprayed and weathered as well. And I just stuck another piece of 5mm foam at the back here that was already dark in colour, and then they were just stuck onto that just to hold them in place. So this will then go over the shoulder and connect on there. And what I'm going to be doing is connect some Velcro strips on the inside, and then this will go onto the shirt that I'll be wearing and be connected to that, and then have the bottom shoulder bit on. So we'll try and put that all together and show you what that looks like. Right, okay, this is the arm section completed. This is the shirt that I'll be wearing. It's got Velcro pads stuck to this, which are now holding the shoulder pad unit on. That's all in nice and comfortable, and I've got the arm section finished. All I've got left to do is some tubing to fit round. I've made a little bit there for the flamethrower. All the tubes will be added to that and come around the back and go onto the back unit. But that's the arm section complete. I'm now going to move on to the legs, and that will be in the next episode. So please subscribe. If you want, check out the helmet build, and the others will be coming soon. So speak to you soon.